What happened to the men who played a role in the death of Jesus Christ? From Judas Iscariot's betrayal to Pontius Pilate's reluctant judgment, each of these figures faced tragic consequences after their involvement in the crucifixion. Their stories are filled with guilt, regret, and downfall. In this video, we'll look at the fates of those responsible for Jesus' death, from religious leaders to the Roman soldiers who carried out the execution. Some met terrible ends, while others found redemption. Stick around as we explore how their choices shaped not only their lives but the course of history. You won't want to miss this powerful look into their fates. Judas Iscariot, the betrayer's guilt. Judas Iscariot, one of Jesus' 12 disciples, will always be remembered as the one who betrayed Jesus for 30 pieces of silver. It was a decision that changed his life forever. After realizing the full weight of what he had done, Judas was overcome with guilt and regret. He tried to give the money back to the chief priests and elders, hoping to undo his betrayal, but they refused to take it. In his despair, Judas threw the silver into the temple and left, feeling that there was no way to fix the damage. Consumed by his guilt, he tragically decided to end his own life, hanging himself in a state of hopelessness. His story is a powerful reminder of how guilt and regret can take a devastating toll. Judas' death is one of the most tragic in the Bible, as it reflects the heavy consequences of betrayal. Despite being so close to Jesus, his decision led him down a path of sorrow and regret, and he couldn't see a way out. Pontius Pilate, the governor's dilemma. Pontius Pilate, the Roman governor of Judea, found himself in an impossible situation. Although he believed Jesus was innocent, he was under immense pressure from the Jewish leaders and the crowd demanding Jesus' crucifixion. Pilate famously washed his hands in front of the crowd, trying to distance himself from the decision, but ultimately he gave in and sentenced Jesus to die on the cross. This decision would haunt Pilate for the rest of his life. According to some historical accounts, he was eventually exiled from his position by the Roman Empire. The guilt and shame of his role in Jesus' crucifixion stayed with him, and some traditions suggest that he ended his own life, unable to live with the weight of his infamous judgment. Pilate's story is a reminder of how fear and pressure can lead people to make choices they regret forever. Caiaphas, the high priest's downfall. Caiaphas, the high priest at the time, was one of the key figures in the plot to arrest and condemn Jesus. He saw Jesus as a serious threat to the Jewish religious establishment, believing that Jesus' growing influence could destabilize their power and position. Caiaphas played a central role in the trial of Jesus, pushing for his crucifixion to maintain control and protect the status quo. However, Caiaphas' life after Jesus' death wasn't smooth. Shortly after Jesus' crucifixion, Caiaphas was removed from his position as high priest. His later years were marked by political and social turmoil, and historical records suggest his life ended in disgrace. Despite his once powerful role, Caiaphas' downfall serves as a reminder that actions driven by fear and self-interest can lead to one's own undoing. Herod Antipas, the Tetrarch's turmoil. Herod Antipas, the ruler of Galilee, played a role in the trial of Jesus, but he avoided making any real decisions. When Jesus was brought to him, Herod mocked him, dressed him in a robe, and sent him back to Pilate without delivering any judgment. Herod's life was filled with moral corruption and political scheming, and he often used his position to maintain his power rather than seek justice. However, Herod's later years were anything but stable. His political maneuvering caught up with him, and eventually he was exiled to Gaul by the Roman Emperor Caligula. Far from the power and influence he once enjoyed, Herod lived out the rest of his days in obscurity, a long fall from his once high position. His story is a reminder of how pride and corruption can lead to downfall, no matter how much power someone once had. Herod's final years, spent in exile and without the authority he craved, show the emptiness that comes from a life focused on power at the expense of morality and justice. The Roman Centurion, a soldier's revelation. The Roman Centurion in charge of overseeing Jesus' crucifixion underwent a life-changing transformation. As he watched the events unfold, including the darkness that covered the land and the way Jesus died, the centurion was moved deeply. He famously declared, "Surely this man was the Son of God," a powerful statement from someone who had just witnessed such a profound event. Tradition identifies this centurion as Longinus, and his story doesn't end at the crucifixion. After witnessing Jesus' death, Longinus is said to have converted to Christianity, leaving behind his life as a Roman soldier. According to Christian tradition, he was later martyred for his faith, showing a complete turnaround in his beliefs and life. His story is one of redemption, moving from being a part of Jesus' death to becoming a follower and believer. The centurion's experience reminds us that even in the darkest moments, transformation is possible. His proclamation of faith at the foot of the cross stands as a testament to the power of witnessing Jesus' sacrifice and the profound change it can inspire in anyone, no matter their past. The Sanhedrin members. Collective responsibility. The Sanhedrin, the Jewish council responsible for condemning Jesus, played a major role in orchestrating his trial and death. Made up of various religious leaders, the members of the Sanhedrin saw Jesus as a threat to their authority and the Jewish establishment. Together, they made the decision to push for his crucifixion. However, their collective actions came with serious consequences in the years that followed. In 70 AD, the destruction of Jerusalem marked a catastrophic event, and many saw it as divine retribution for their role in Jesus' death. The power and influence the Sanhedrin once held were significantly weakened, and the Jewish council was never the same. The members of the Sanhedrin who were involved in Jesus' trial had to live out their days knowing the part they played in one of history's most pivotal moments. Their story is a reminder that collective decisions, especially those made out of fear or self-interest, can have far-reaching consequences. The actions of the Sanhedrin leaders led not only to the death of Jesus, but also to their own downfall. The mob. The crowd's complicity. The crowd that called for Jesus' crucifixion played a key role in determining his fate. When given the choice between Jesus and Barabbas, they demanded the release of Barabbas, a known criminal, and shouted for Jesus to be crucified. This was a classic case of mob mentality, where fear, manipulation, and the pressure of the moment drove people to make a tragic decision. While individuals in the crowd may have returned to their normal lives after that day, the weight of their collective actions was something that lingered. Their choice led to the unjust execution of an innocent man, swayed by the emotions of the moment and the influence of religious leaders. The story of the mob is a sobering reminder of how easily justice can be swayed by public opinion. It shows how quickly people can be manipulated into making decisions they may not fully understand, and how those decisions can have lasting consequences that affect not only individuals but the course of history itself. And there you have it, the tragic and complex stories of those involved in Jesus' death. Their choices brought about deep consequences, serving as powerful reminders of the weight of our actions. If you enjoyed this exploration, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the Bunny Burrow for more insightful content. Make sure to hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on any upcoming videos. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.